Hey y'all, welcome back. I hope your Monday's going fantastically. I am excited to talk to you a little bit about 5 different tips on Instagram. I know it's some of our favorite social media networking is getting to go on Instagram, connecting with like-minded people and growing our business there. So today we're going to share some tips. If you're just scrolling by really quickly and you don't have time to watch the live stream, there's actually our Instagram success bundle is linked in the description of this video. If you scroll down to the bottom where the text stops, you can go ahead and click on that success bundle and get some resources. So be sure to download that. Otherwise, let's dive in. I'm going to give you some tips here, and then we're going to go over and look at MeetEdgar's Instagram account and see how we've actually put these tips into progress on our own Instagram account. So tip number 1 here is to make sure that when you're sharing quotes, not every single one of them is a branded quote. So the reason that this works really well is because we want to be creating shareable content on Instagram. Sharing not only allows the algorithm to see that you're getting a really good boost and saying, hey, people like this content, they're sharing it. It also allows your brand to get in front of their audience's eyes. But some of the most shared content on Instagram are those quotes, those inspirational quotes that really hit someone's identity and makes them say, wow, yes, this says something about me. That's why people share things to their own page, because they resonate on it with a personal level. So if you're someone who's sharing quotes, whether they're thought leadership quotes or quotes that someone else put out there that's just inspiration, make sure that some of them sure have your branded logo on them, but not all of them should, because when people are compelled to share, they don't necessarily want that to be branded everywhere. Another thing that goes along with this is if you are someone who's sharing a lot with hashtags, so if you're going out there and trying to show up in the Explore feature, having an awesome hashtag strategy set up to gain new eyes on your content, I also always suggest using text on your photos or using text just on a beautiful colored background, because when someone is searching those hashtags and they're in the Explore feature of Instagram, if you've posted a photo, let's say, of like a dog, and perhaps the caption is really great and has a lot of juicy information on it, and you all about small businesses and how this dog relates to it somehow. When you're scrolling through the Explore feature, all you see is the photo much of the time. So people aren't going to actually get that juicy information that you've included in your caption and get to know your brand and get to know you, because they're most likely just going to think, oh, this was hashtagged poorly, I'm going to scroll past it. So if you're using a hashtag strategy, consider on some of your posts putting text on the photo or text on a colored background. So when people are scrolling through the Explore feature, they know exactly what you're talking about by just seeing the picture, and they don't have to go in there and read the description to get that value from your post. So think about text in your photos and think about not branding every single quote you're getting out there to increase the likelihood that people will actually share your content. So the second tip here is to make sure that you're really going hard on behind the scenes content, especially in your Instagram stories. This is really powerful because people who are a part of your community want to feel like they're getting something that people who are not a part of your community are not getting, right? If we join a community, we want to feel like we're a tribe and that we are there for a reason. And showing your followers behind the scenes content that they can get only exclusively on Instagram will help you retain people, as well as the fact that we all love to get a glimpse into people's lives. Why do you think reality TV took off with such a vengeance back in the day? Because we love that glimpse into people's lives. Now, often we learn that this is quite scripted TV. Of course, we know that. But Instagram can actually be that real version for you. It can pull back the curtain and let people see the human side of your brand. And when it comes down to it, we've said it once, we'll say it twice, and we'll say it again. People buy from people. We do not buy from logos. We do not have brand loyalty to a logo. We have it to the values that the people within that company are providing. So if you're someone who is afraid to show your face, I'm going to challenge you this week to take a selfie and share it to your stories. It only lasts for 24 hours, so you have nothing to lose, and you should see some great engagement there. And to take a picture of your team to show the people who are actually working on your product or service and making sure that those faces are recognizable to your community. It makes a big difference in the engagement rate for your posts. Rule number 3 is making sure you're following what we call the 80-20 rule. So you all know if you use a MeetEdgar account for your social media strategy, that the way we organize your library is on a category-based system. So these categories are things like your blog posts, your behind-the-scenes content, your quotes, your tips, your curated recommended reads for people. Those all make up the strategy of your social media. Now, when you have these categories set up, it's so much easier to make sure that you're not sharing the same type of post over and over again, which is not fun for anyone to consume on social media, right? But what these categories make sure is that the majority of your content is value-adding categories. So those are things like your blogs, your how-to content, your tips, your quotes to inspire people, your memes to make people laugh, your behind-the-scenes content to humanize your brand. Those all go into the entertaining, educating 80% of the content that should make up your social feeds, valuable, educational, entertaining content. 20% can then be a little bit more promotional, whether it's you're offering an exclusive discount for your social community, or you're building up your newsletter with a lead magnet PDF document people can download. These promotional ones, while still helpful with that discount and building your email list, should not be what your whole feed is made up of. People don't want to consume that type of content, right? So following that 80-20 rule on Instagram means that you need to make sure when you're posting things, 80% of your content is value adding. So let's take, for example, if you're going to share a post every single day in a week, you want to make sure at least 3 or 4 of those posts are going to be valuable, educational, and entertaining. 2 of those posts can be a little bit more promotional, and that ratio is going to work way better than if you just try to holler at people to buy from you all the time. Remember, we need to nurture and we need to educate our community, and we need to show up with a space of abundance and offering value and giving away our best tips and secrets to get people results, so that when it comes time they need our product or service, they trust us and they are ready to buy from us. So the 4th tip here is making sure that you are repurposing and upcycling your content for Instagram. So if you are someone who is recreating the wheel in every single piece of content you're putting out there, you are wasting so much time on social media. You need to be making sure any single post you're putting out there, whether it's like a blog post or a podcast, can be turned into 5 to 10 status updates. You might be thinking, Megan, that is crazy. I cannot do that, but you surely can. The reason you can do this is because how you become an expert and well-known in your industry is all about making sure you're going deep on a subject matter. So it's okay to restate the same concepts, and it's okay to restate something that perhaps the following week you already talked about. A, because not everyone saw that content, right? B, because people like to consume content in different mediums. So if you're sharing stuff strictly in a blog post, but some people like to watch a video in order to get content, you're missing a whole segment of people there where all you had to do was whip out your iPhone, speak to the main concepts for 2 or 3 minutes that you wrote in your blog post, and have that as a piece of content that can share out as well. And 3, the reason why you want to repurpose is because it's going to save you so much time. You need to make sure that you're not having to recreate every single status update to get your name out there and to get that brand awareness, but that you are getting your best content forward in different ways. When people are ready to buy, they might see a post that they perhaps saw a year ago, but you've nurtured them and you've built that trust. And now when they see it again, they are ready to buy from you. Last, engagement on Instagram. So engagement on Instagram is super important. We all know that the social networks are looking for that all-important, meaningful social interaction. One thing that we hear a lot from clients is that people seem to spend a lot of time in their DMs trying to nurture really comprehensively, right? So you're writing back these huge emails basically in your DMs to people who have asked you a question about your product or service. It almost feels like it's a coaching call or something, right? So our tip here is to make sure that you have some canned responses or some canned PDFs to your top 5 questions. So get out there, look in your inbox, look in your DMs about what your top 5 questions that you get from people are, and make sure you have a really well-researched PDF guide for them or a really well-researched canned response that you can just copy and paste. So much people get afraid to do this because you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't respecting my followers. I need to DM them on a more personalized level. But when you take a step back and you realize, hey, I spent an hour creating this one PDF guide that can answer this question for the majority of my followers. And if you just send someone that link instead of typing a 20-minute answer, the quality of your answer and the information you're giving them is probably better. So make sure you're engaging smartly. Have resources ready to answer those top questions you know you're coming in. So again, you do not have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Bonus, you can also use it to grow your email list if you're doing it as a PDF guide that people have to enter their email to download. Because remember, the goal of social media is not to build your entire business on the Instagram platform. The goal of social media is to make sure you're nurturing people and getting them onto your email list, getting them to know where to find you on your website or your blog, because we do not own our followers when they're on social media. We cannot know how to reach them if the networks decide to cut down and slash our reach, or to put our account on hold or something. I'm not saying this will happen, don't freak out. But this is really the main point of getting people on your email list and making sure that they have a way of contacting you off of social media. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and I'm just going to show you some of the MeetEdgar Instagram posts that we've done recently, just as some inspiration for you if you're running into problems with any of these concepts. So this one here is from our YouTube series, How'd She Build That? So we interview female entrepreneurs all about their business journey. You can see this is actually a video that we go over here. So this is something we do on YouTube. We repurpose it here on our Instagram account. Now this you can see is a 12-minute video. What you can actually do to get this on your feed is you can upload it to IGTV, and then they allow you to share that preview to your feed. So like if you go to our main MeetEdgar Instagram account here, you'll notice like on the MeetEdgar account that a lot of these videos, let me pull that up real quick. Edgar. A lot of these videos here are on our feed. So this is how she built this. This is another long video. What we've done is we've uploaded this to Instagram TV and shared it onto our feed as that 15-second promo. You can go ahead and Google how to do this. Instagram has some super simple instructions on how to do that. But if you're a YouTube creator, make sure that you're taking advantage of this so that you can get more eyes onto your content on Instagram as well. So the next post that we have here is a behind the scenes post. So you know that everyone is obsessed with those national days, right? So that National Donut Day, National Taco Day. If you are a company who can go ahead and speak to these things, like if tacos is your favorite food, go ahead and shoot a picture of your team eating tacos at lunch that day and share who your team is. This one here we did for National Puppy Day, because who doesn't love a good dog? And we posted all of the photos of the MeetEdgar puppies here, right? This is a great way to get a little bit behind the scenes content, to humanize our brand, and to celebrate something we all know people love, which are puppies. Another thing that we've done here is this quote. You can see again that we've quoted it. This is a branded quote, but our brand is not all over it. It's still a really fun thing for people to share. So this goes back to the thing that I was speaking to on people love to share quotes that resonate with their identity. So make sure you know who your audience is so that you can speak to that identity side of it. But the reason I love this quote is also because it's a little bit polarizing and a little bit of a like shock to the system, right? So when you read this, oftentimes it might go against what you actually think you're supposed to do. So before you create any more great content, figure out how you're going to market it first. That's kind of a switch in your mind that grabs people in and they say, wait a minute, that's not how I'm doing it. Let me read this post. So look for things in your industry that you might think about differently from other people, or that you could kind of flip the script on to draw people in and to get that curiosity going. Another thing we do on our Instagram here is update our podcast. So there's an app called Wave that you can actually create this beautiful graphic here, so our podcast social post, and you can download a little snippet. So this here will actually play part of our podcast. You can see it also goes ahead and has the text down here transcribed so that people can either listen to a snippet or they can read it. This is a really great way to go ahead and promote your podcast and give people a little curiosity. Now you might be thinking, hey, Megan, but how do people get to my actual podcast? Because Instagram links aren't actually clickable, right? So you can see over here, there's no link to go to our actual podcast. Well, what we do is we say link in bio. So what we use here at MeetEdgar in order to make sure that people can click on this link and be directed to our podcast is we use a program called Linktree. So if you go to our bio, you can see it's this linkedinprofile.com. If I actually go ahead and click on this, you can see what happens from Linktree is it'll go ahead and bring up all of the most recent links that we've gone ahead and put out there. And this is where people can click on it. So people can now click on this, be directed to that link where we've said link in bio, and they can go ahead and not have to like copy and paste from it. So that's a common language that you'll see on Instagram is that link in bio. So you can actually just switch out your link if you want to go into your Instagram settings and copy and paste a new link in there every time. Or look out for Linktree. It's a great program to be able to make sure that that one link has a longer life on the Instagram, because you could see we could list like 5 to 10 links there. So this is a way that we've upcycled this one podcast episode into another social media status update here. Another post here that's really great for email list building is we've put out an Instagram post for our tools and resources. So this would fall into that 20% category, that we're being a little more self-promotional. However, at the same time, we're being really helpful because we know these tools and resources for social media images are something that our community wants to actually consume. So what we've done here is we have this PDF guide. Again, you can see that we use the link in bio language right here. So we can go to the bio, we can click on it. Once you are directed to this resource guide, you place your email address in order to download it. We've now collected your email address where you can be on our newsletter, and we can actually nurture and make sure that we're giving you the educational materials to make the right choice if our tool is right for you. So think about ways you can use your lead magnets on Instagram in a helpful, value-adding way. This is a really great example of using a quote without any branding. So you can see, remember why you started is a great inspiration. It's a great thing that we know our community is going to latch onto and is a really great identity-oriented piece of content here. But there's nothing that says MeetEdgar on it. So it's likely our community would share that to their stories or would tag a friend in it or something, because it doesn't scream, hey, this is an advertisement. This is just a really valuable piece of content. Another thing that you can do is make sure that you are actually just getting pull quotes from within your blog post and posting them as text-only tips. So here you can see we have this great little blurb that goes over different reasons that you should start using numbers in your headlines. Now, we didn't write this status update just for Instagram. This was well researched for an entire blog post that we used. But again, we don't actually need to put that blog post in here for people to get value from something that we know a lot about. So what blog post tips do you have that you can either get pull quotes from and use those as text-only tips, or what concepts can you talk about a lot more that you can become an expert in? Last couple here. This one is a promotional post that I'd love for people to think about a little bit more creatively on using Instagram for building your email list. So in the caption here, it says, have you been checking your email this week? We've been having a birthday party and we would love to give you the gift. So as a reminder for people who don't always check their email, I know I'm guilty of not opening every single email of brands that I have in my email inbox. You can see right up here, I have 100